You know, why do we think inside certain parameters? Why do we sit there and have our mind be inside of a certain box that we give it? Life being thought of a certain way, people being thought of a certain way, everybody having their position, everything having its position, all life having this conformity and this uniformity and path and what we occupy our time with and the careers and boom, boom, boom. Everything is just so delineated. Why does our mind get channeled that way? Why do we allow that to happen? What would it be like if we actually allowed ourselves to totally blast that out, completely drop the walls? What would we be like? What would it be like if we were able to just say, just drop it all and totally let our minds go? Because our minds do create this experience, no doubt. So what would we be like if we were totally letting it all down? I always talk about expansion. Everything is wide open in expansion. We simply visit little zones of consciousness or visit little zones of definition or anything like that, but it's wide open in expansion. There is no definition. So what would there be if there was really no definition in our consciousness? What if we were to totally break down the walls and allow our minds to just completely be blasted out there? When I think about my own stresses or my own reasons that we bring things back down together, and we bring things to a point or to a delineation of some sort. When I think of why I do that in my own self, it usually has to do with fear and stress. It usually has to do with comfort and liking things a certain way, growing to be spoiled, say. Isn't it interesting that as we totally blast that out there, we can't possibly hang on to those fears anymore. We can't hang on to anything anymore. There is no hanging on. There is no guarantees. And life is completely wide open. Our minds have no limits. It's interesting to me why people say misbehave, say they break outside of you have this inclination to break outside the parameters that society gives us in some way or another. So they kind of misbehave, in big ways. I wonder what their inclination to misbehave would be like if there was actually no parameters. If there wasn't something to fight against, to break outside of, because maybe, not sure, but maybe this is just people's way of feeling that they are being kept inside of a box of sorts, Maybe they're trying to actually just express that innate, absolute free state of mind, and they're trying so hard to make it happen, and the only way that they can figure out how to make that happen is to misbehave. Of course, I understand there are lots of other contributors to people's behaviors and so on, but what if we're actually able to have no parameters of thought? We probably wouldn't even stay in the zone that we're in right now, where we're sitting here in the zone of the physical. And it probably wouldn't be, say, misbehaviors, because there wouldn't be behaviors, say. There would be no rebellion, because we wouldn't even be sitting on this plane. But what if we were to open it wide open? Do we even feel like we can do that? Maybe that's why people are struggling with that, trying to break outside of this seemingly organized life. What really is organizing those thoughts? What really is it? Is it the pressure? Is it the imposed ideas? Is it something we were raised to think? Are we really that lacking in creativity that we can't possibly think outside of what is happening around us, what's socially acceptable, or what? I always look at people that are just absolutely beautiful in their expression, like people that wear odd colors and random this and that, and they just feel free, they weird makeup or whatever, when the people just, they're not doing uniformly. You know how some people, like, there's the fad of the people that wear dark stuff, I can't remember the name of it. And they all wear everything dark, but almost like a uniform between them. If you notice that their boots, their makeup, their everything, it almost looks, uniform. But what about those people that are just so super out there? Nothing goes together. And they just totally have their own creativity coming off the walls. And even in the walls in their homes, or, their creativity is just amazing and beautiful. And I love that. I wonder if our minds were free to just expand and blast beyond that. What about drug use? Maybe people try drugs because they believe there is something more beyond this totally organized thought process. Maybe their self-expression is just crying out to be more, to be beyond this. They're willing to do anything, even sacrifice their health and their life, just to rebel against the wall, to allow themselves to be beyond the wall that society is giving it. Or maybe it's not society. Society gives us something to work with, We create those walls and then we start living inside of them. And then we stay there. Society doesn't have to do anything. We're pretty much schooled and set up for the rest. Wow. A lot of thoughts. Could go on and on. It's pretty cool. What would it be like maybe to just let it go? Just experiment with just letting it rip. Letting it blast out. Go beyond where we've ever gone before, like Star Trek. Anyway, thoughts, pretty cool. Later.